Our 24 drivers are ready to go green, and we're back, stronger, together, and positively charged.
We've got a race for the championship, we've got a race for the race win. All 5 lights are on. We go green in Berlin, very quick lights out. There's going to be contact.
Careful, mate, careful.
We can win this race.
Let's go get him.
I'm so much faster than these guys.
Last lap now, last lap now.
I'm so much quicker than him.
Bring it home.
One of the most dominant races in the history of the championship.
Ah, this feels so good.
Woo!
Let's go, boys!
What a race! What a drive!
Hello and welcome to the stunning city of Berlin. The weather is absolutely gorgeous, but that's not the only good news. Because after 158 days, Formula E is back. And we have got something stunning, something very unique. We've got 9 days, we've got 6 races on 3 different track configurations to crown one champion. And there can be only one. This is going to be the most intense finale in motorsport history.
After 5 months away, ABB Formula E is back. And boy, have we missed it.
The grid is set.
When the season was suspended in March, we'd already seen 5 different winners and countless moments of classic Formula E drama.
What on earth has gone on?
Now the world's most innovative, competitive and environmentally friendly racing series is about to go green again. With 24 of the world's best drivers in a unique 6-race format on 3 different tracks at a purpose-built biosecure facility at the historic Tempelhof Airport. This is how the Drivers' Championship looks after 5 rounds as we head into the first of those 6 races in Berlin. DS the Cheetah's Antonio Felix da Costa leads the pack from Jaguar's Mitch Evans, ahead of BMW's Alexander Sims. But with 180 points still up for grabs, the race for the title is wide open. So who are the drivers to watch?
The steering cannot turn it, stuck.
Reigning champion Jean-Eric Verne suffered a terrible start to the season and needs wins in Berlin to give himself a chance of a third title on the bounce. But never write off the mercurial Frenchman. 2017 champion Lucas de Grassi had a steady start to the season, but Audi have always been strong in Berlin, and the Brazilian could be in the mix when things shake out.
Lucas de Grassi wins!
Likewise, Alexander Sims and Max Günther, who have both won races this season for BMW I Andretti.
Thank you so much. Amazing job, guys. Yes, come on!
Despite debut podiums in Saudi Arabia for Porsche and Mercedes, both have struggled with the unique demands of Formula E. Stoffel Vandoorne may still have his sights set on the championship, but it's going to be a big ask. Mitch Evans has been lightning quick for Jaguar.
Mitch Evans wins in Mexico City!
Could this be the year the Kiwi really makes his mark? Well, not if this guy gets in the way. Antonio Felix da Costa has consistently outperformed his illustrious DS the Cheetah teammate Jean-Eric Verne to lead the championship and goes into Berlin as the man to beat. It promises to be the most intense finale in the history of motorsport. 9 days, 6 races, 3 tracks, 1 champion.
It's good to be back, and I'm joined by our race commentators, Dario Franchitti and, of course, Jack Nicholls. Gentlemen, it's good to be back racing.
It's brilliant, isn't it? Great to be back at a racetrack. We did some of the Race at Home Challenge stuff, which was fun, seeing the drivers go head-to-head, but this is why we're all here, isn't it? To see them race in real life on a real racetrack.
Dario, we've had 5 races already. Do we dismiss those? Do we put them to one side? Because we've got 6 races in 9 days. We're going to crown 1 champion. Where do we put those 5 races that we've already had?
Oh, that was such a long time ago, wasn't it? I mean, 5 months, really, since Marrakesh. So you've still got to consider it, though. And obviously, there's more points available than are on the board. I mean, 67 points, I think, Antonio Felix da Costa has. Was 180 available? So it's all to play for. But these boys are a reason they're at the front of the championship, and they consistently fight for those lead positions. But this is like something we've never experienced before, Vernon. As you said, those 6 races in 9 days. I've never seen this happen before in motor racing.
Jack, like Dario said, this has never happened before. We've got 6 races in such a compressed period of time. We've had a massive gap, 158 days. How do teams attack this period now, where they've got to go all out from the start?
Well, I think that's the answer, isn't it? You know, it's going to be so important to get momentum going here, because there are so many times for a team that if something goes well, then you want the next race to come along as soon as possible. If something goes badly, sometimes you also want the next race to come across as quickly as possible so you can get back on the horse. But equally, you don't have enough time here to maybe sort out the problems that you've been having. You can't go back to the factory, get a software update, and then come back. You're stuck with what you've got, really. And I think that's going to be the challenge. Who can hit the ground running is going to be crucial.
Dario, this season, it's pretty obvious that da Costa, Antonio Felix da Costa, has hit the ground running with his brand new team, DS the Cheetah.
Yeah, actually, the first couple of races weren't so strong, but his last 3 performances, including that win in Marrakesh, he was just getting his momentum when everything got shut down. So he's hoping that he can restart that, and I wouldn't bet against him. He's made life very difficult for his teammate, reigning champion Jean-Eric Verne. Back-to-back champion. Because the way he does it with a smile on his face. He's like, oh, sorry, man, I beat you again. And that's hard to fight against.
Yeah, but we have seen a period already this season where he hasn't had a smile on his face, and he's been quite aggressive with his teammate, in fact, Jack, Jean-Eric Verne.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was one thing that one of the journalists asked in the press conference today. They said to Antonio Felix da Costa, you know, is Jean-Eric Verne going to play a supporting role for you in the 6 races here because you're top of the championship? And exactly.
It even hurts me.
Exactly. So you can imagine da Costa found that all very funny, and all the other drivers laughed. But I'm not going to be asking that question of Jean-Eric Verne. I'll tell you that for nothing.
No. All right, let's have a look at the 3 tracks, the 3 different configurations that we're going to be racing on in the next 9 days. The first one is a reverse of the stereotypical, the standard Tempelhof track, Dario.
Yeah, a pure reverse. You can see here the 3 different colours, where they're on the throttle in blue, when they're coasting in the grey, and either on the throttle, on the brakes, and then regenerating in green. So this, yeah, you might think, oh, it's just reverse, but you get in a rhythm in a racing car, and everything comes at you in a different order on this track. So this will be definitely be a challenge for them. Attack mode on the outside of turn 5, overtaking probably more difficult than your normal layout that we're used to.
All right, let's go back to our classic Tempelhof racetrack. The Audi team, Lucas de Grassi, have done exceptionally well in the past on this track.
Yeah, Lucas has never been off the podium here. Audi, the last 2 wins, so they've got to be feeling strong about this. But this is a fantastic track, and it's put on some great races. Quite a high degradation track for the tyres, but low grip at the same time.
And one of the things I find interesting about the final track, which is this new alteration for this week, is the drivers are saying, yeah, we did a load of laps on the simulator and we sort of got used to it. But now, having done 4 races on other tracks, we're going to forget everything that we did in the simulator. So it'll be almost totally from scratch.
Is the last pair of races going to get quicker because we're going to have a load of rubber on the track?
For most of the track, yeah, but obviously there's that new section on the last bit which will be completely clean. But yeah, the track will continue to get quicker. Tyre wear will decrease as well.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. It's lovely to see you.
Oh.
Even though we're 2 metres
And
apart,
you,
it's
Vern.
great to be in your company. All right, we're going to go to Nikki, who's with Jean-Eric Verne. Let's see if she asked that question, shall we?
Yeah.
So now it's time to catch up with our reigning champion from DS Techeetah, Jean-Eric Verne. Jev, great to see you in these rather extraordinary conditions. But let's have a recap of your season so far. It was a bit of a challenging start, but on the podium in Marrakesh with, I mean, over half the season still to race. Do you think you can turn it round?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's very nice to be back racing. It's been a long time. And yes, absolutely, I think it's everything is possible. Last year, in the same time, so with 6 races remaining, I was still very far away in the championship, almost 40 points behind, and you know, we all know how it ended up. So I just have to focus on a race by race basic and try and do the best I can and score as many points as possible, and we see where we are at the end of those 6 races.
I mean, over 180 points up for grabs still, so really the championship's wide open. But one of your biggest competitors is your teammate, Antonio Felix da Costa. And we've already seen a bit of angst between the 2 of you in South America. How do you think that's going to go?
I mean, he's not the only competitor. Also last year, I think André was almost leading the championship at some point. He was the one that had a big gap to me in the championship, but in the team doesn't change anything. They're giving us the same chances, so you know it's up to me to be better and to catch up, but also not only to my teammate to be better than the other drivers, because I'm sure all the other teams have worked a lot, and we don't know how we're going to be performing against the other one. I hope all my qualifying problems that I found since this season on the brakes will be resolved, and that I can fight more in the front now.
And just very quickly, you're racing with a rather special helmet. Tell us about the story.
It's quite simple. My dad was training a lot of young drivers in karting, and he had the karting team doing all European Championship, French Championship, and he had this very special driver that was called Fabien Pochet, and he used to live in our home, so he was to me like an older brother. He was also my very first helmet design that I used in karting, and sadly he passed away almost 20 years ago, so yeah, I just wanted to remember him and make this nice helmet that was also my very first helmet in karting.
Oh, it's wonderful to hear. And just very quickly, we've got 6 races, 9 days. How on earth are you going to get to the end of this? Because it is seriously challenging, both mentally and physically.
I'm going to need a good massage in between the races.
Well, there you are. Is that the secret to winning?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Excellent. Well, thanks very much. All the best. Good luck.
Thank
Now,
you.
it has been 5 months since we went qualifying, so I'm sure we're all feeling a little bit rusty. So let's take a little look at how qualifying works.
ABB FIA Formula E qualifying takes place on race day prior to the main E-Prix. The cars split into 4 groups of 6 drivers based on reverse championship order. In this group qualifying session, each driver gets just 1 flying lap to set a time. They're given the full power allocation of 250 kilowatts, but with the race happening shortly after, there's very little time for the team to repair a damaged car. So margins are fine and mistakes often costly. Drivers have to find the line between going as quick as possible, but not risking a crash and potentially missing out on the race. At the end of the session, the fastest 6 drivers proceed to the Super Pole shootout, with the fastest gaining a championship point. The top 6 drivers will go out one by one for another flying lap. The fastest driver is awarded pole position and 3 potentially crucial championship points.
round 6 to 7 in Berlin will use the traditional layout, but in reverse. You can see on this map, the grey areas are when the car is coasting, the driver is not accelerating or braking or regenerating. The green point, the driver is regenerating, putting energy back into the battery. On the blue, back on the throttle. You can see this hairpin in turn 2. We see a lot of action there in the past. Kink turn 3, kink turn 4, then a medium left straight up to turn 5 with the attack mode activation zone on the outside. Accelerating hard out of 5, then regenning. Heavy braking zone, but really not an overtaking opportunity. Through turn 8, turn 9, into turn 10. Turn 10 goes on and on, putting a lot of pressure on the outside rear tyre. And that is a lap of the 2.355 kilometre Berlin circuit.
We've been waiting a while, 158 days. And now it's time to get back to racing. Berlin is the only city to feature in every season of Formula E. Who's going to get the all-important first pole position in Berlin? Today, there's been a different pole winner every race. So let's go over to our commentators, Dario Franchitti and Jack Nicholls.
Thank you very much, Vernon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome along to qualifying ahead of the Berlin E-Prix, the first of 6 that we've got coming up for you. There's a look at the TV tower. This is all Alexanderplatz, where the race was held down in back in season 2. But before then and since then, we've been racing around the Tempelhof Airport. And what a great spectacle it has given us over the years, and what a flexible spectacle it is going to give us over the next 6 races. Starting off the day with reverse Berlin, then moving on to the traditional Berlin layout, and then the new Berlin layout to end the 6 races. Qualifying Group 1 will be Stoffel Vandoorne, Lucas de Grassi, Antonio Felix da Costa, Mitch Evans, Alexander Sims and Max Günther out on circuit. The championship leaders, the top 6 in the standings, out onto the track when the session gets underway. It's 6 minutes long, so don't expect them out for a good 2 or 3 minutes at least. Dario Franchitti with me, as Vernon said. Dario, we saw a lot of cars in practice outlap straight on it, so I think we could see that quite a bit today.
Yeah, we saw some teams trying to split that strategy. Some were going to do an outlap, a preparation lap, and then the qualifying lap. But whatever happens, Jack, you only get that one chance to do a time at the full 250 kilowatts of qualifying power. So it really makes a difficult job for those guys. We see Antonio Felix da Costa on screen, the drivers, to find the limit of the car for that one lap. Don't step over it, though. As soon as you step over it, your lap is ruined. You're starting at the back, and that makes life very, very difficult.
2 pole positions this season for Alexander Sims. Santiago had Mitch Evans on pole position. Mexico City was the Porsche of Andre Lotterer. And Marrakesh last time out was championship leader Antonio Felix da Costa. So of these 6 drivers going out in Group 1, Vandoorne hasn't had a pole position this year. Neither has de Grassi. Neither has Max Günther. So those are the drivers that haven't had a pole yet this year. In fact, Max Günther's last pole position was the 2017 Formula 3 race at Hockenheim. So there's that fact for you.
There you go.
So as I say, it may be sort of 2 minutes to go, 2.5 minutes to go, that the cars may head out onto the circuit. As we look at da Costa there, championship leader by 11 points.
We're looking at something like a 1:06 lap time. The track's heated up a bit since last practice. The sun's been beating down on it, but because it's concrete and not asphalt, there's not quite as much of a temperature difference. Today's qualifying is probably the most group critical because there's the least amount of rubber on the track. When we do the next race event tomorrow, there'll be all the rubber from today's race, tomorrow's practice, etc. on that. So I think Group 1 will be a bigger handicap today for the top 6 in the championship.
Lucas de Grassi waiting to head out onto the circuit. He hasn't had a pole position since Bern all those years ago. There is Stoffel Vandoorne getting ready to go out in the black Mercedes.
What tends to happen here is everybody, they've all got the same numbers, they know how long it takes, so they'll tend to leave at the same time and then get in each other's way. One thing that normally the teams have to, or the drivers have to prepare the brakes, heat the brakes up, carbon brakes on these cars, heat the brakes, get them into their operating window. As we see the driver's eye view, this track's got such heavy braking zones, that's not a problem. They can go out and warm the brakes up quite normally and then start that lap. But you've got to get those Michelin tyres into their operating window too. One of the absolute keys to qualifying.
First out, Alexander Sims in the BMW I Andretti, the only driver to have ever scored 3 pole positions in a row, coming from last year where he took pole at the final race in New York City, then 2 in Diriyah, and both BMWs out in this group, the only team represented by 2 drivers in this first group of qualifying.
And Sims did not have a good practice in FP2, free practice 2. He was 19th quickest, so he was looking to improve on that, but he definitely had the qualifying form this season.
Everybody heading out then with 2.5 minutes left on the clock. But we haven't had Da Costa out yet.
No, Da Costa's famous though. How many times have we seen him do it? He goes out and goes straight on it. Yeah, the other guys, by the time they left, they've gone out there. It looks like they're going to go. They're going to do a preparation lap, then a push. Mitch Evans still in the garage too, in the Jaguar. You see his mechanic just holding him there. Less personnel in the garage because of all the various policies put in place to protect everybody with distancing.
Well, here we go then. Alexander Sims coming out of the final corner at turn 10 on this reversed Berlin circuit. So if this is your first time looking at it, this is the charge down towards turn 1. Onto the brakes into the very tight right-hander first corner. To give you a reference point, the fastest time that we've seen was a 1 minute 6.8 in free practice 2. May not be as close to that as in qualifying, because temperatures have gone up a little bit, and also these guys are on their preparation lap as well, Alexander Sims. So this is his warm-up lap, not his flying lap. This is the left-hander at 3, then into 4, and down towards turn 5, which is also where the attack mode activation is. Everybody else on their prep laps now with 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock.
What we have here is a mix of guys out of the pits going straight onto their lap, and other people doing a prep lap, but they're all sort of migrated to the same spot in the track again. So the last thing you want to be, Lucas Di Grassi looks like he's last in line. The problem with that is if somebody ahead of him hits the wall and slows him down in any way, okay, if there's a red flag he gets to do the lap again, but if not, Lucas is in trouble. He's got 57 seconds to get round to the start-finish line. That should be easily done, as he looks like he's about to pass Antonio Felix da Costa.
Okay, here comes Sims then to start his flying lap for real this time. Full 250 kilowatts of power. 1 lap, 1 shot. Sims turning into the first corner.
You saw dancing on the brakes into turn 1. A completely blind entrance. Going to be a hard straight line braking into turn 2. The hairpin. We expect a lot of action there this afternoon. Watch when look at the halo, glowing magenta. That shows he's on full power, 250 kilowatts. Through the kinks of turn 3. Another kink in 4, a bit noisy on the steering there, but back and forwards a little bit. Going to try and brake, carry the maximum momentum through turn 5 again. The wall's going to come really close on exit. We saw a couple of guys hit that this morning. The longest straight now, trying to pick out your braking point for turn 6, Jack. Bumpy, but also you've got to turn and brake and unload the inside wheels. A lot of blocking here this morning. Looks pretty undramatic so far for Sims though.
Pretty much the same as Di Grassi and Gunter in the first sector. It's Van Dorn that's the quickest. Scratch that, it's Antonio Felix da Costa that's the quickest by 0.2 of a second. Really big first lap there from da Costa.
And we've seen people lose or gain a massive amount of time through sector 3. What can Sims do?
Across the line, a 1 minute 7.996 for Alexander Sims. On board with Mitch Evans. All the lock on as he then accelerates out over the line. And Evans, can he go quicker than Sims? Cuts the timing beam, and he does by 0.4 of a second. Antonio Felix da Costa is looking very quick. He's half a second up. Van Dorn slots into second place, just ahead of Sims by 0.003 of a second. Gunter goes into second place, but Antonio Felix da Costa, surely here, is going to go to the top of the times. He does, a 1 minute 7.122. 0.4 quicker than anyone else. Huge lap from da Costa.
And Lucas Di Grassi, though, not a huge lap, 108.1. That's not going to get it done. He's going to be starting very near the back today, I would say, with that one. Just what he didn't need to happen.
Yes, alrighty.
Business as usual, huh?
Yeah, that's the kind of lap time that could get da Costa into Superpole, I think, because it isn't like a normal street circuit, this, where it's very dirty and the track really dramatically cleans up. Being in the first group here is less of an issue anyway, and it'll only get less of an issue as the 10 days progress.
Absolutely, and sounds like da Costa's told Jeff
I was told the team to tell Jeff, watch out for the rear tyres in the build-up. Don't overheat those rear tyres towards the end of the lap. But yeah, that was his voice again. You can tell a lot by the driver's voice. Very calm. Yeah, expected that. Well done. Let's move on.
Da Costa also reported on the radio that Di Grassi nearly crashed in front of him, and that explains the time loss for Di Grassi. In fact, it was a huge time loss in the final sector. He lost 0.8 of a second, basically, in that final sector. Sorry, 0.7 of a second in that final sector alone. So that's where most of the time went for the Brazilian. So the first 6 have been out. Antonio Felix da Costa is the quickest by 0.4 over Dawn, Sims and Di Grassi. We've still got another 18 drivers to come as they battle it out to get into Superpole. Beautiful day. Group 2. Bird, Roland, Buemi, Verne, Lotterer and Mortara. Some big hitters in this group. Bird looked pretty quick in practice earlier on. Oliver Roland has a 20-place grid drop. Sebastian Buemi is getting more into the swing of things as the season progresses. And there is Sam Bird.
Hey, attention everyone, this is Race Control. Just a reminder that the groups are going to be pushing counter pit lane back to their garages in the working lane because of the layout of the pit lane. So as you're coming out of the garages for your own group, please be aware that the group before you is going to be going the opposite direction, being pushed by the scrutineers. Thanks.
Scott Elkins, the race director, because this is a reverse grid. Basically the FIA garage and the Parc Fermé is at the end of the pit lane rather than the start of it.
And also, Porsche are at the beginning of pit lane for these next 2 days. Being a new entry to the championship, normally they would be at the bad end, to call it that, because they would be last out to every practice session. These next 2 days, they're first out.
Double reigning champion, Jean-Eric Verne, wearing the helmet that of Fabien Pochet, a very exciting young talent who was killed aged 19.
This man needs to make a statement today, I think. He needs to make a statement against his teammate, Antonio Felix da Costa, just remind everybody, you know, he can get it done in qualifying and get these next 6 races off to a good start.
We also saw Sam Bird's new helmet for the weekend, which is a Kylo Ren style helmet from Star Wars, designed by one of his stepsons. There are the 2 Nissans ready and waiting.
Easy for you to see, Jackie.
Yeah, to go out in the second part of qualifying. Roland on the left. There you can see Da Costa just waiting to... oh, hello. Waiting to get weighed down in the scrutineering bay at the end of the pit lane. And what was it? With about 3 minutes left on the clock, I think we started to see drivers heading out. There is Verne.
And Verne's helmet's very Sebastian Bourdais-like, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every time I look at it, I expect to see the glasses underneath that Bourdais wears. I wonder if Sebastian copied it as well.
Yeah.
Fabien Pochet.
Yeah, quite possibly, actually.
Ask him that.
So Verne waiting to go out. Pochet was a karting rival of Fernando Alonso and a driver 8 years older than Jean-Eric Verne, so one that Jev looked up to. He's had his birthday, has Jean-Eric Verne, since we were last in action. A few of the drivers had, actually. But turned 30 in April. And there is Andre Lotterer, the 38-year-old for Porsche, getting ready to go out onto the track. He and his teammate Neil Jarni looking for a strong result. He was pole last time in Mexico. Second part of qualifying. Da Costa, Evans, Gunter, Van Dorn, Sims and Di Grassi have set their lap time for the Berlin E-Prix, the first of 6 Berlin E-Prix.
In the next 9 days.
In the next 9 days. So, yeah, get on board with that hashtag Berlin E-Prix. It's going to be around for a while. And that is Andre Lotterer, the pole sitter in Mexico City 2 races ago. Couldn't convert that into a victory.
And remember, this is only group qualifying. This is only to get into the top 6 to then go for Superpole. And if you get a point for being quickest in group qualifying, but then you get 3 points for pole position. And I think this championship might come down to those bonus points. Fastest lap, you get 1 point as well. It's going to be that close, and it's going to be that difficult, I think, to be consistently good over these next 6 races.
There is Sam Bird. So, I haven't seen anyone leave the pits yet, have we? With 3 minutes to go. It'll be about now that the teams and drivers decide to depart. Bird in his final races with the Envision Virgin Racing team, joining Jaguar for next year, the Englishman, after 6 seasons and 5 teammates, maybe 6 teammates, I think.
A lot of teammates, but he's been the consistent, as you say, and he's won a race in every season.
Yeah,
he's and some of the early car, I think the second car they had was not an easy car to drive, and he did that phenomenal drive in Argentina, I believe it was. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. In season 2, chased down by that man, Sebastian Buemi. And Bird managed to hold on to win. Buemi came from the back after a brake problem in qualifying, but that was then, this is now. And Buemi looking for a strong performance in that Nissan car, because they've kind of, it was his worst start to a Formula E season. After 3 races, he had 0 points, but 3rd and 4th in the last 2 races. And amazingly, Nissan have appeared in 17 of the 18 qualifying Superpoles. So of the 18 qualifying sessions they've taken part in, they've been in Superpole in 17 of them, either with Buemi or Roland or a mixture.
And here we go, everybody's leaving together. There we go, they're all going to complain about traffic. You see the problem with the group before for scrutineering, and they're going to go in and get weighed and everything, but that's just something to be aware of. Mortara heads out early in the Venturi. Braking, getting the brakes into the temperature zone, getting the tyres into the temperature zone. You can see the dust off line as well. That's going to be very interesting in the opening laps of the race this afternoon.
So everybody has gone out together this time around. So they're all going to be just going straight out and straight into the flying lap, as opposed to the previous group where we saw people working the temperatures a little bit on the warm-up lap. And it's interesting that Da Costa was saying, you know, careful of the rear tyre temperatures, and he didn't even do 2 warming up laps.
No, I would imagine as he's getting towards the end of that lap, he's going to feel the car sliding around a bit more. It was certainly lively even to start the lap, but a lot of times that's the quick way. You see Jean-Eric Verne wasting no time, passing Andre Losser in the Porsche, just trying to get some clear track. That's what you want. Sam Bird backing off a little bit. Oliver Rowland ahead. I imagine Sebastian Buemi will be some way down the track. Oliver Rowland has been fantastic in qualifying since his addition to the Formula E Championship, but he has got a 20-place penalty. So Buemi already up to turn 1, heavily on the brakes. A slightly earlier turn-in possibly than other guys. Look at the back of the car already sliding on the power through turn 1.
Here comes Edoardo Mortara then in the Venturi on this reverse track layout of the Berlin E-Prix, heading down towards turn 5.
I'm noticing a lot of the guys snatching at the steering, going through the kink of turn 4. But again, Mortara, look at the marbles flicking up from the tyres. He's really working the steering heavily. Split time still Da Costa quicker.
Yeah, Roland and Buemi are quick in sector 1. Verne is 3/10 slower than his teammate in the first sector, getting the middle sector splits now, and again it's decent for Buemi. He's in the mix here of getting up into that top 6. It's all about being in the top 6 and advancing through to Superpole. Roland is a little bit down on Buemi. We're on board with the driver's eye. Coming through the final corner, finally the throttle goes down. Mortara goes 4th then, ahead of Van Dorn, Sims and Degrassi. And it's a good middle sector from Jean-Eric Verne. Buemi goes 2nd, a 10th of a second away from Antonio Felix da Costa. Here comes the next Nissan of Roland. Roland goes 3rd. Jean-Eric Verne in the DS Techeetah. Lotterer goes 4th. Bird goes 5th. And Ware is Verne 3rd. So Jean-Eric Verne went 3rd. So both DS Techeetahs looking strong there. Pretty tight between those top 3. Then there's a bit of a gap back to your Lotterer, Birds, Rolands and Evanses.
But it's going to be that close, Jack. That 1.5 tenths between Da Costa and Verne could be the difference between getting into or being on the outside looking into Superpole this afternoon.
So we'll move on to Group 3 next, but it's still Da Costa.
Where did we lose out?
I would say sector 1 mainly, Sam.
Yeah.
3.
Bit everywhere though.
Yeah, but 2 tenths in sector 1, a 10th in sector 2, a 10th in sector 3, I suppose. So yeah, a little bit everywhere. Interesting that he wants to know that, because I don't know. Is that to sort of rectify or to assess that within himself?
Yeah, it's fresh in his mind. I'm sure if they've told him in his position, he knows at this point he's probably not getting into Super Bowl today. But it's good information for tomorrow. You're just looking for any advantage you can gain.
Yeah.
All the time looking for perfection.
So the cars return to the pit lane, and that is half of the qualifying field done. And Jean-Eric Verne has done a good lap there, because he was 3/10 away after the first sector, but he managed to haul it back quicker than Da Costa in sector 2, quicker than Da Costa in sector 3.
We've got 3 of our championship challengers, Jack, 10th, 11th and 12th right now.
Yeah.
Van Dorn, Sims, Degrassi.
And that's the thing, because with Da Costa at the top of the times, Group 1 is not a viable excuse. So as it stands, Da Costa, Buemi, Verne, Lotterer, Bird and Rowland are the 6 drivers that will advance through to Superpole. Evans missing out, Gunter missing out, Mortara missing out, and Van Dorn, Sims and Degrassi all out as well. But we've still got 12 more drivers to come. Can any of them usurp the drivers that are in that Superpole position at the moment? We've got some nice vibes here, haven't we?
Some funky new music.
Yeah, I like this. Bit too chilled to go through qualifying Group 3, but it's going to be Robin Freitz and Nick de Vries, the 2 Dutch racers. Felipe Massa, Daniel Abt, James Collado and Jerome D'Ambrosio. Now, James Collado has a 60 place grid penalty and has done no laps today. So he's just going to do a sort of installation run. It's not going to be a flying lap for James Collado.
He just wants to complete a lap. He tried to complete a lap in FP2 and the car stopped after the team had worked an amazing effort to get it ready.
So frustration for Collado. 60 places. He obviously can't serve all of those 60 places, so they then get converted into time penalties.
Which is so harsh. We saw this with Jean-Eric Verne in Diriyah, and Jean-Eric still he scored points. He finished, I believe, 8th.
And the Mahindras in Mexico City.
Well said, yeah.
Both scored points as well. So out onto the track very early.
Wow.
Goes Nick de Vries.
Quickest in free practice 2, Nick de Vries in the Mercedes.
Quickest out in Q3. So we'll see what he can do. But for now, we will go and hang out with Nikki Shields, who's speaking to the drivers.
Yeah, so I'm here down outside the Panasonic Jaguar Racing Garage with Mitch Evans. And Mitch, talk us through, I know it's been a long break, so it's difficult to get straight back into the driving seat in qualifying, but it looks like you've just been knocked out of Superpole.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I was pretty happy with our job in quali. It's just that Antonio did a blinded lap. Congrats to him. And he's you know, that buffer that he's got is probably where everyone's going to slot into. So we've sort of been 4 tenths off him, 4 tenths off him all day. So I'm not surprised with the gap, but yeah, I did all I could. I'm happy with how clean the lap was, but it's clearly not going to be enough. So hopefully the damage isn't too bad.
Yeah, and well, we've seen the incredible pace from the car this season, so I'm sure you can make it back up in the race.
Let's hope so.
Thanks very much, Mitch Evans.
7th place, Mitch Evans.
That's a worry if he's saying we've been 3 or 4 tenths off all day. Because, as you said earlier, Jack, you can't go back home and have a couple of weeks to think about and to get the software changed and stuff. You've got to make changes tonight because there's another one coming up tomorrow, and then you've got 1 day off and 2 more. So the midnight oil will be getting burnt in a lot of the factories, on the simulators, software departments, and in the setup of the mechanical side of the car.
There is Jerome D'Ambrosio getting ready to leave.
Yeah, 4th quickest this morning, did a very good job.
Yeah, interested to see what that Mahindra can do. They've had highs and lows here, Mahindra. Season 1 was not a good one. Karun Chandok and Bruno Senna qualifying last on the back row of the grid, but then taking victories with Felix Rosenqvist, the first win for the team, and a double podium, I think, and it was almost a double race win until they had a bit of a kerfuffle in the pit lane in the second race of the Berlin doubleheader.
I think I'm going to have to leave the torque balance at the front, so I can't get any.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, he's been complaining on the radio apparently all the way sort of round the lap, saying just not happy with the car at all. What was he saying? He's going to leave
balance.
So he's just going to have to leave it at the front. What does that mean?
That means it sounds like he's talking about how they can adjust the transmission of the car to change how the car deaccelerates in the corner, basically how the left and right wheels work together and how it deaccelerates and how it regens. It's just not happy. I mean, what can you say? As we watch Nick de Vries, James Collado out there trying to do his best, and he's, as you say, done no laps. Nick de Vries is on a lap.
So here is de Vries. His first sector is decent. He's 2/10 down on Antonio Felix da Costa, but he's kind of there with everybody else.
And again, you see the rubber flying up, which is coming up to the second split now, Jack. 20.9 is the quickest of all.
De Vries comes through it, and again, he's in the mix here. If he can do a good final sector, he's got a shot at Super Bowl as Nick de Vries coming into the left-hander at turn 9 now. Collado has gone to 250, hasn't he? So he is giving it a bit of a push, even though Jaguar said it would just be an installation run.
See de Vries fighting the rear of the car all the way out of the last corner as he comes to the line.
De Vries goes 4th then. In with that top group of drivers, manages to get ahead of Andre Lotterer, Bird. That means Roland is pushed out of Superpole. Here's James Collado coming down on his first lap of the track, basically. Well, his second lap of the track, and it's at 250 kilowatts of power. So this is quite something for James Collado. A bit too much speed into there.
And if I'm James with the first lap of the race, I'm just going to back it out a bit and let everybody get on with it, because there's one line into the first corner and I expect it to be some crunching of carbon this afternoon.
Collado does a 1:10.194, 3 seconds off the pace, which is actually not too bad.
Felipe Massa was really quick through the first sector.
Oh yeah, he was. So we'll keep an eye on Massa. Abt goes 14th, driving for the Neo team now. Here comes Felipe Massa. We're on board with him in driver's eye. He's lost a couple of tenths in the middle sector. He's got an outside shot at Super Bowl here if it's a good final sector. Comes across the line now, the Brazilian drives to the line and is 9th place, so a tenth or so away from getting into Super Bowl. Good lap from Massa. It's so congested in that midfield. Robin Freins has done a horrible sector 1, 50 seconds left, so maybe he just hasn't started his flying lap yet. Jerome D'Ambrosio is about to start his. Yeah, Freins hasn't started his lap.
Okay, yeah, I lost a bit of rear tires on the last sector.
So Massa complaining he lost the rear tyres in the last sector. Here comes Jerome D'Ambrosio for Mahindra.
That shows how critical it is. I would be taking it a little bit easy through those first couple of corners, just looking after those tyres. So I've got them for that critical last corner. Look at D'Ambrosio looking down. This is driver's eye view right through the visor. You're seeing what he sees. Look how blind it is as the corner disappears behind the front wheel. He's crossing the first split now.
It's not a bad first sector for Jerome D'Ambrosio. A couple of tenths down on Da Costa, but pretty much everybody is through sector 1. Da Costa, Buemi and Massa very much in a league of their own. The checkered flag is out. We'll see what D'Ambrosio's got in the middle sector. Keep your eye on Robin Freins as well in the bottom right. What's his first sector going to be? He's in the mix too with a 22.6, so all very close in sector 1.
Decent for D'Ambrosio. Yeah, that's not bad at all. He used all the speed through turn 7 though, and he wasn't to the power quite as early as you'd like. This is the part, carry a bit of speed, but don't run too wide, but then get back to the throttle hard, fight the oversteer all the way out of the corner as you race to the line.
Might sneak into the top 10 here, Jerome D'Ambrosio. Here he comes across the line. It's 6th. What a good final sector from the Belgian. And what can Robin Freins do? That pushes Sam Bird, Freins' teammate, out of the Superpole group. Where will Robin go? Runs up to the wall on the exit, drives over towards the line, the last driver in Q3, and Freins goes 11th, but only a tenth away from getting into Superpole. Really good lap that from Jerome D'Ambrosio.
Oh, close, Jack.
Yeah.
From P5 to P12. Wow. Every minute bit of speed you can gain is critical here, but it's so difficult to do it without overstepping the limits of the car.
So Da Costa, Buemi, Verne, De Vries, Lotterer and D'Ambrosio are the 6 drivers that will advance, or that at the moment will advance through to Superpole, but we've still got 6 more drivers to come, including 2 debutants, 1 newcomer for the weekend as well in Alex Lynn. So could we see a surprise from one of those drivers? Da Costa it is, though, who is looking pretty unstoppable at the moment. Okay, it's only group qualifying, but it certainly looks like he's going to get a point for topping the group qualifying. Here's a super slow-mo of Jerome D'Ambrosio, presumably getting up close to the wall on the exit here.
Turn 7, let's see how close. Nah, you can see daylight.
Away.
You can see
That's
daylight.
3/10 there. Disgraceful.
Yeah, come on.
Pull yourself together, Jerome.
I'm going to have a word with him. We saw René Rast hit the wall this morning out of turn 5. He got a lot closer than that.
So here's a look at the standings with 6 drivers still to come. Da Costa, Buemi, Verne de Vries, Lotterer and D'Ambrosio, the 6 drivers that, as it stands, will advance through to Superpole. Bird missing out, Roland in 8th, Mitch Evans 9th, Felipe Massa top 10 as it stands. But as I say, still 6 more drivers to come. Difficult for James Collado with his first lap on the track. 3 seconds off is not bad. Daniel Abt, a difficult qualifying session in his first qualifying session for Neo. 6 to go. So Group 4, Oliver Turvey for Neo in a very difficult Neo that Daniel Abt has qualified basically last. Then the 2 Geox Dragons of Nico Müller and Sergio Sete Camara, the Brazilian from Belo Horizonte, new to Formula E this weekend, as is that man, René Rast. Well, he did 1 race in 2016, but now he's full on in the factory Audi team. 2-time DTM champion, which he wasn't when he entered last time in 2016 at Alexanderplatz. Fascinated to see what he can do, and I feel like we don't really have a benchmark because De Grassi made a big mistake in the final sector.
No, absolutely. He has been impressive, hasn't he? He's been impressive through the practice sessions. His record speaks for itself, and excited to see what René Rast can do. And as you said, Oliver Turvey in this slightly difficult Neo. The guys were hoping they'd made progress in the time off. Unfortunately, I think so had the other teams, so they find themselves still up against it. But Oliver Turvey has pulled some incredible qualifying performances out of the Neo. And we see Alex Lynn, who got pole position in his first ever Formula E race, New York City.
Still amazing to think that his best ever result in Formula E is a 7th place. With all the races he's done and all the times he's been. Well, here last year, what was he running 3rd?
He was running 3rd, and the transmission locked up, wasn't he? And I think a similar story in New York City. So just needs a little bit of good fortune, I think. And there's Sergio Sete Camara, drove in Formula 2 last year. His teammate Nico Müller, I think, he's 10th quickest this morning. Could he sneak a result? We've seen the Geox Dragon guys be able, maybe not the most efficient car in the race, but they pulled some results out in qualifying.
Sete Camara, the 22-year-old Brazilian, now the youngest driver in the field, as Max Günther turned 23 before, during lockdown. Finished 3rd at the Macau Grand Prix in 2016, did Sergio Sete Camara, 4th in the FIA Formula 2 Championship last year, behind Nick de Vries, who won it. Latifi 2nd, Giotto 3rd, then Sete Camara in 4th position. Picked up a couple of wins along the way. And there is René Rast in his first qualifying in a single-seater. Well, he's only done 1, which was that race in Berlin, since 2004. So I don't actually know when René Rast's last single-seater pole position it was. I do not have that in my locker, I'm afraid to say.
You have got that info?
No, I haven't.
Oh, one of the Geox Dragons heading out. Sergio Sete Camara.
Here he comes then. Sete Camara out onto the track. We'll see what he can do. The final 6 drivers out on circuit. And let's have a quickly go down to Nikki Shields while these drivers are on their outlaps. Nikki.
Yeah, I'm just here with Sebastian Buemi for the Nissan Edams team. Now, Sebastian, you've actually won here twice in Berlin before, including here at Tempelhof. And, you know, that success looks set to continue currently in P2.
Yeah, that's the objective. We've been working very hard in the off-season, I mean, in the lockdown to try to improve. So at the end, I'm quite happy with what I just did. Today was not easy in the free practice 1 and 2. I didn't get the confidence, so we rolled back on a few of the settings, and it worked okay for quali. So now let's just do a good job in Super Bowl and see where we are then for the race.
Awesome. All the best. Thanks, Seb.
So good to hear from Sebastian Buemi. And he should, well, I'm fairly sure he'll be going through to Super Pole. René Rast has never had a pole position in single-seaters. That's why I don't have that information, because it hasn't existed.
Doesn't exist yet.
He only did 2 years in 2003 and 2004. Both years, Sebastian Vettel, the dominant force, along with Maxi Goertz, who then went on to win Blancpain GT Series and that sort of thing. And in Rast's second year in Formula BMW ADAC, it was Sebastian Buemi who finished third to Sebastian Vettel in the title fight that year. Here's Sergio Sette Camera. I think he's going to be on a prep lap here in the Geox Dragon.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's great, this camera on the cables.
Yeah.
Running pretty much the whole length of the facility. At this point, early in the lap, I know it's just a warm-up lap, early in the lap, you're thinking, are you on the throttle? The rear of the car is good, you're able to get back to the throttle. As you get more towards turn 6, or 7 actually, and then 8, then you really feel the rear go away. And when you actually need it the most, coming out of turn 10, when you're turning and accelerating at the same time, it's really a problem. So you see Alex Lynn just getting ready to go.
EJ's tweeted me saying, I may not be there, but I'm glad you're enjoying the new music.
Ah, thanks, EJ.
So there we go. We were loving the chilled, cool vibes, EJ.
Oh, Sette Camera locking up. Ah, he missed the corner though. It looks spectacular, but you see him get off onto the dust and the dirt, and that's it. This is his first experience of Formula E qualifying. In his first corner, he's already out there. Oh, and he hit the wall. He just got out of his rhythm there. And this is all learning experience for Sette Camera, because he'll be back doing it again tomorrow on the same layout.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on everyone else's lap time. It's the only qualifying session in the world where you have to brake earlier on your final attack lap, because you're arriving quicker.
Yeah, you wind it up.
Yeah.
You wind it up. Yeah, I've used qualifying engines in the past, which we're not really allowed to use anymore. They're not very environmentally friendly.
Yeah.
Use them for 60 miles and throw them away. But yeah, you arrived a lot quicker with those too.
But you had, you know, grippier tyres and that sort of thing at the same time.
Well, I suppose, but you see Sette Camera trying to work it out through this last corner. And he gets close to the wall again.
Across the line, and Sette Camera is going to go 18th, slower than Daniel Abt. Nico Muller's not done a strong lap here in the other Geox Dragon, so it's not going to be a very strong performance for Geox Dragon in this qualifying session. Turvey's first sector is pretty slow as well, I have to say. It's pretty much matched his teammate Daniel Abt. Here comes Muller out of the final corner. His middle sector's a long way adrift too. He'll go quicker than Camera, probably, maybe Abt as well. Yes, and De Grassi up into 16th position, but not great for him. René Rast has done a decent first sector, you know. He's a bit slower than Lucas De Grassi, but if he can keep it together in the final sector, he may well be able to out-qualify his teammate. First time of asking, as we see Oliver Turvey now coming out of the final corner.
All over the place from the first braking, no rear support at all.
Turvey goes up to 16th position, ahead of Nico Muller, only a tenth slower than Alexander Sims in the end, so that's a good lap from Oliver Turvey. Comfortably out-qualifies Daniel Abt by half a second. Gianni only goes up to 16th place in the Porsche, and René Rast goes 13th. So Rast out-qualifies his teammate De Grassi. Gianni a long way adrift of Andre Lotterer. Here now is Alex Lynn, whose first sector's a couple of tenths away. Middle sector's okay. Yeah, this could be a top 10.
He was 4 tenths away on that first sector. Let's see how he hooks up. Slowed it down maybe a little too much as he gets back to the throttle. Let's see how this ends up for Alex Lynn.
Lynn across the line, 12th place. Half a second away from Antonio Felix da Costa, 2 tenths away from his teammate. Not a bad run in a first qualifying with a new team.
I'd say that was pretty impressive first time out. His teammate Jerome D'Ambrosio, 6th quickest, gets into Super Pole.
So that means Da Costa, Buemi, Verne, De Vries, Lotterer and D'Ambrosio are the 6 drivers that will battle it out for pole position here in Berlin for the first of 6 races in 9 days in the ABB FIA Formula E Championship. Thank you very much for joining us for this qualifying session, especially if you're at work, because obviously it's a weekday, isn't it, which you kind of forget about.
Yes.
But yeah, this is where working from home might have its advantages, because you can watch some Formula E. Sixth, my apologies, was Alex Lynn's best result in Punta del Este in Season 4, so thank you to Natalie for pointing that out to me. There's Jerome D'Ambrosio then. He's going to be heading back out onto circuit, married over the shutdown, over the break. And will he be married to the front row of the grid? I couldn't think of anything clever to say. Here's a replay of Seth Camera, who was all over the shop, really.
Yeah, that car just did not look nice at all.
Nico Muller was complaining about the brakes from turn 1 onwards in the other Geox Dragon.
Yeah, it was almost more of the balance, Jack, wasn't it? It's all over the place. So from the moment he touched the pedal, not a happy qualifying for the Geox Dragon team.
So qualifying complete, and it will be Antonio Felix da Costa, Sebastian Buemi, Jean-Eric Verne, Nick de Vries, Andre Lotterer and Jerome D'Ambrosio, who will advance through to Superpole. Oliver Rowland has a 20-place grid drop, so everybody else will get shuffled up. So Evans will be 8th, Massa 9th, Freitz 10th, etc. Alex Lynn completing the top 12, which of course will be 11th. And then on the other page, we see Max Günther, 13th for him. Rene Rast in 14th position. You've got Stoffel van Doorn down in 16th place on the grid. Alexander Sims, 17th. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what those drivers can do as they try and carve through the field later on today. Amit Mandalia says, yep, I'm working from home. Means I can have qualifying on TV in the background. I'm imagining in the background with a wink. Honestly, in the background. So those are the drivers into Superpole. Pretty strong collection, you have to say. And 6 different teams? 6 different, no, 2 to cheaters. So 5 different teams in the top 6 for Superpole.
And then the cars have been sitting out in the sun. The tyres have already had one run. So the cars are going to handle a lot differently than they did in group qualifying, when you've got absolutely the best setup you could possibly put on it. You've got to just deal with the balance of the car now. That's going to mess up the order quite a bit.
So this was Antonio Felix da Costa, the fastest lap in group qualifying, which has earned him a point on the run down into the first corner.
Let's just watch his hands as he brakes, as he's turning and braking ever so slightly, a little bit to the left, but nothing too bad. Bit of understeer mid-corner. You prefer that to snap it over, so you're lovely back to the throttle. Braking the straight line for turn 2, hairpin coming up. Wow, yeah, again, bit of understeer, but straight back to the throttle. The car accelerates ever so well. A kink left, now your eye line is way up to the next apex, sorry, on the right-hand side as you kick to the right. Back to the throttle. Turn 4 is a lot tighter than actually you'd think. Back to apex, full throttle. Oh, just rode the rear out, danced all the way out. You can see the car sliding more already on the rear than it was earlier in the lap as he's trying to pick out the braking point and your apex point to the left. Very nice, you hear the car touching the ground. Oh, Di Grassi ahead of him makes him a big mistake. That's going to hold him up just a bit. Turns 8, turn 9, back to throttle. Now this is this long turn 10, out a bit wide. Get the car in front, the car turns and back to full throttle. That DS Techeetah puts the power down ever so well, and that is your quickest lap in group qualifying. Very nicely done.
He was lucky, wasn't he, that Di Grassi didn't proper go into the wall, because then that would have been Da Costa's lap over.
Yep, unless there was a red flag.
Yeah.
Sorry, those are the chances you take.
So we're waiting now for Superpole. Jerome D'Ambrosio may enter the fast lane and go and wait at the end of the pit lane for Superpole to begin. There is Buemi's car parked in the garage for the time being. Second quickest in that session. We've got 1 driver from Group 1 in Antonio Felix da Costa. We've got 3 from Group 2, Buemi, Verne and Lotterer, and then 2 from Group 3 in Nick de Vries and Jerome D'Ambrosio. I think Rast has done a good job there, you know. The Audi is not the Audi of old, there's no doubt about that. But he was the second quickest Audi powertrain out. No, sorry, he was quicker than Di Grassi, but he was slower than both the Envision cars. So there is Andre Lotterer getting ready to go out into Superpole. We've got 6 drivers getting ready to head out there. Da Costa, Buemi, Verne, de Vries, Lotterer and Jerome D'Ambrosio. But let's hear from someone who didn't make it through with Vernon Kay.
Thank you, Jack Nichols. Yeah, I'm with Sunbird. Sam, 7th in the session. You mentioned there were a couple of mistakes there. Do you want to talk us through those, please?
Sector 1 and Sector 2, we're there or thereabouts, Vernon. Not Antonio pace, but certainly in the mix to be in Superpole. And then just a couple of little misjudgments in the final sector, probably lost a tenth and a half, and that's the difference between being in Superpole and not. I think I was 100th away from being in Superpole, so it's fine margins here today.
It really is, and that's what makes Formula E so exciting, though, isn't it? Is the fact that all the drivers are so good, these fine margins make such a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in other formulas you make a small mistake and you could be, it wouldn't really hinder your position, but in this you make a small mistake and it's the difference between being at the front or at the back.
Now, you've got a fantastic reputation when it comes to the race, so obviously you're hoping to crawl up the table. On this surface, though, the degradation of the tyres, is that going to be an issue? Because it's going to be a little bit cooler by the time we get to the racing.
Yeah, it's going to be slightly different racing in the evening compared to what we normally do in the heat of the German sun here in Berlin. But I'm looking forward to it, Van. Should be a good race, actually. Starting P7, I know that we've got the ambition to go forwards. I think we can challenge for really good points today.
I know you can't see it, but I'm smiling because I know you're going to be attacking in the race, which is great, Sunbird. That's a Sunbird we know and love. All right, thanks very much. Guys, back to you.
Well, I'm here with Felipe Massa for the Venturi team. Felipe, I mean, would you say that was a good qualifying, P10 at the moment?
Well, I can never say I'm really happy with the P10, you know, but that's the way it is. The lap was not really wrong, so I managed to put the lap more or less together, lose tiny bit in one corner or in another one, but not really something that is really a mistake or something like that. So at the end, that's the way it is, so let's concentrate for the race.
And obviously this is the first time that we're all doing this track in reverse. What do you think are the kind of biggest challenges that you've spotted for the race?
Well, it's a new track, definitely. It's completely a new track for everybody. Even if we race here in the reverse, nobody race. And it's really challenge, you know, to get all the braking point, all the corners in the right way. So it's definitely a new track for everybody. You can be sure that tomorrow, even the lap times and everything will improve a lot because we're going to have a lot more experience on the track. But anyway, let's try to have a good race, consistent, and try to score some points.
Absolutely. Felipe Massa, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks very much.
Thanks.
Great to hear from Felipe Massa. Out onto the circuit goes Jerome D'Ambrosio.
You've got to say Massa, every time you start to write him off, he's having a tough time. He's a little fighter. Yeah, I love it. I love his combative nature. And he's been there, he's seen it, he's done it. And it still means so much to him to do a good job.
Using the hashtag Berlin E-Prix, Clips has said, watching Formula E with work on in the background, which I think that's the right way around to go about it. Saskia Stewart is watching while having breakfast in Canada. So there we go. Thank you for all of you for tuning in. The cameraman at Turn 1 has sent me a tweet as well. Focus on the job.
He's definitely tuning in, hopefully.
He's probably going to be in trouble for that now. Right, here we go.
So, no preparation lap, straight up to Spain. He's going to go past the start line and go. And at this point, you're sort of thinking, how much grip have these tyres got? They're already going off, you know, in group qualifying. What are they going to be like now with another couple of hard laps on them? So as Jerome accelerates out, and he's thinking now, through your head, you're thinking, can I brake just a fraction later? Can I brake just a little bit? Get a bit more time here. Does he manage it? Let's see. Pick him up. And the cameraman in turn 1 missed him. Oh, but nice and tidy from the Mahindra on the exit of turn 1. Again, heavy braking into 2. Watch how it disappears from behind your line of sight. It's very difficult to position the car with pinpoint accuracy. Crosses the first split, 22.7. That's about 3/10 up, and that's not bad because Superpole we generally see the lap times not quite as quick. Braking in for 5. Late turn in, made it again. The wall's going to come up in a hurry on exit. The rear of that Mahindra looks very, very good.
D'Ambrosio was in Superpole in both of the races in Diriyah. 6th, though, in those sessions. His middle sector is okay. This is an absolutely okay lap there for Jerome D'Ambrosio so far. 2 pole positions in his career, both with the Dragon team back in the day. Now on the power, out of the final corner.
And that's the first real kick of opposite lock we've seen as he comes out of turn 10, cuts the track distance down.
Minute 7.371. Not a bad lap that from D'Ambrosio. The quickest lap I think we saw was a 7.1.
Right, good job, mate, good job. In, brake integral, and remember, 120%.
New race engineer this weekend, I think, for Jerome D'Ambrosio, because that was not Juan Ramirez, as we see Antonio Felix da Costa getting ready to go. Next up is going to be Andre Lotterer, the man who was on pole position in Mexico City.
And we've seen the Porsche be very quick on one lap. It's being new to the championship, the efficiency hasn't been quite there, but they've had 158 days off to figure it out, or should I say away from the track. They haven't had them off, and that's whether they've figured out how to make this drivetrain more efficient in the race this afternoon, and that will get the convert a good qualifying into a good race result.
Here comes Lotterer in the Porsche, over the line, down towards turn 1. Gets on the brakes. Where's the turn? There it is. Not too bad.
Yeah, he was about a foot away though from the apex, and whether that was he just couldn't turn anymore, whether the front of the car was sliding, or he didn't want to turn more because the rear of the car was sliding. Either way, he missed the apex as he comes up to that first split now.
Cuts the timing beam, and it's a good one. 22.5 in sector 1 for Andre Lotterer. That's one of the quickest we've seen, probably the 3rd or 4th quickest in that first sector.
That is rapid. I'm very surprised, I must admit, that they were able to run so quickly. And Lotterer using all the road out of turn 5 as he crosses the next timing line now. We're looking for 20.9 or something like that. 21.1. Not too bad, couple of tenths off. He's still ahead by almost 2 tenths.
So he's got the advantage here on Jerome D'Ambrosio after the first 2 sectors.
Oh, it rotated beautifully through turn 9. Absolutely cracking through there. He's back to the throttle now. It looks great coming off a 10 jack. This is a good lap.
Lotterer surely is going to move on to provisional pole position here across the line, and it's a 1:07.235, slightly slower than D'Ambrosio in the final sector, but enough to give him a 1/10 of a second margin. Now we turn our attention to Nick de Vries as we look at a replay of Lotterer coming into turn 7.
Just watching that left front absolutely on the edge of locking the whole way in, because that was the unloaded tyre through turn 6 and then becomes a loaded one pretty quickly afterwards. How close does Andre get to the wall though? Let's see. No, loads of room. I bet Lucas de Grassi got closer than that when he made his mistake. Yeah, lovely. Great lap from Andre Lotterer, you have to say.
From Porsche to Mercedes, as we now have Nick de Vries out on circuit. No BMW in the pole position shootout, which will be a little bit disappointing, or Audi, so very much advantage Porsche and Mercedes there. Here is Nick de Vries, 3rd place in Diriyah, his best qualifying of his Formula E career, still his rookie season, as the young Dutchman gets onto the brakes into the right-hander of turn 1.
Yeah, current Formula 2 champion, quickest in free practice too. Let's see if he can tie this lap together and put the Mercedes on pole position in their home race here in Berlin.
Here comes the first sector split for de Vries. How's he doing compared to Lotterer? He's there or thereabouts. It's about a 1/10 of a second away from Lotterer in the first sector. Still 2/3 of the lap to go. Through turn 5 for Nick de Vries.
Again, nice and balanced on the exit as he comes up to across the second timing beam, looking for his braking point into turn 6. Oh, quickest of anyone.
This is quick from de Vries. He's only 0.08 of a second away from Andre Lotterer. It's all going to be in these final couple of corners whether the Mercedes can out-qualify the Porsche. Oh, he's got a bit greedy there.
But has it cost him any time, because the car he got it sideways, got it straight in a matter of milliseconds, and off he went down the road.
Here comes de Vries across the line, and it's second, 0.06 of a second slower than Andre Lotterer. That was full commitment in the final sector.
Yeah, how close do you want it? This is incredible. 3 cars to go, and 1.3 tenths from first to third.
Good lap from Nick de Vries. Crossed the line in 3rd place in Santiago earlier this year, but was then given a penalty for a technical infringement. Ian James, the team principal of Mercedes, described that race as sublime. But this was in coming into this final sector. Here's his radio.
Just watch as he goes onto the throttle in turn 10, right there. Just got a bit sideways. It looked a lot more dramatic from the other camera angle.
It did, didn't it? Here's the one where it really looked like it got loose.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Fabulous though. Bit of dirt track at the back of the car just sliding. He kept the foot down though.
So Nick De Vries, second quickest at the moment. Lotterer on provisional pole position. De Vries second. D'Ambrosio third. But we've still got 3 more drivers to come. The first of which is the DS Techeetah of Jean-Eric Vergne, who comes across the line now. The 2-time reigning champion. As far as the points go this season, he is in 8th place, a 4th and a 3rd in the last 2 races. What can he do?
That's neat and tidy so far. We'll soon find out if it's quick, but it was very neat and tidy through turn 1. On the brakes again, no drama. Gets to the apex. This car looks so good on the track at the moment. First,
Wow, a tenth of a second up on Andre Lotterer.
We're going to talk about half-tenths here because it is so close, Jack. That's a big old gap.
Lotterer, his teammate last year, left the DS Techeetah team to move to Porsche. Is Vergne still going to have that advantage after the middle sector? A very strong sector 1 for Vergne. Oh, and a strong sector 2 as well. He's over 2 tenths up on Andre Lotterer. What a lap this is looking like from Jean-Eric Vergne.
And he's got that on his steering wheel and he's pushing to the limit, but there's a part of your brain thinking, okay, just don't overdo it, and he hasn't through here. Got it rotated through 10, back to the throttle now, and now it's just shortening the distance as much as possible and wheeling that car to the finish line of the qualifying lap.
His best qualifying performance this year is 8th, but now he's on provisional pole position for Berlin.
FP2, provisional pole, Jeff. Good lap. Box and think about your front tires. Box with.
And if you can hear that, it's the sound of a gauntlet being thrown down.
Yeah.
To his teammate Jerome D'Ambrosio. I'm sorry, Antonio Felix da Costa.
Not a great final sector. Only a 10th up on Lotterer overall. Good lap from Vergne, don't get me wrong, but very much beatable, I would say, because there's that. If he'd have done the fastest final sector of anyone as well, you'd be like, okay, this is going to be tough, but there is some time for someone to find out there. Will it be Buemi, who is next up? Will it be the other DS Techeetah of Antonio Felix da Costa?
And someone ominously came on the radio and said there's more time in the car.
Yeah.
But to do a perfect qualifying lap when you've just got that one lap, it's very, very difficult to do. Let's see if Sebastian Buemi can manage it now. Sounds like an aeroplane going down the straight today from that angle. That's fantastic. Quite apt at the Tempelhof Airport.
Echoing around the old terminal building. Buemi onto the brakes, into the left-hander of turn 2. Here comes his first split. Is he close to challenging Jean-Eric Vergne? 600ths away. He's in the frame here, Buemi. A very successful qualifier, the most successful qualifier in Formula E. Second in that list is Jean-Eric Vergne.
He got a snap of oversteers. He went to the throttle. The car looked great through the apex of turn 5, but then a snap of oversteers. He got to the throttle. Has it affected him though? He's 600th up. Oh, he's lost it all.
10th of a second away. Now there is time to be found in the final sector compared to Vergne's time.
But you've got to take that risk, Jack, and that risk can make making a big mistake. The worst you can start is 6th though, so I'd be giving it giving everything, risking everything.
Buemi's had 1 front row start already this year. He's looking for his 15th career Formula E pole position. Hasn't got it. He's behind Lotterer as well. So really big first sector from Buemi, but couldn't pull it together in sectors 2 and 3, sector 2 in particular. And it'll be, at best, 3rd on the grid for the Nissan driver. So it will be a DS Techeetah on pole position for the first race in Berlin. Which one will it be, though? Vergne versus da Costa for pole position. The championship leader up against the reigning 2-time champion. Here's a look at Buemi in that final sector coming down into turn 7.
If his radio's anything to go by, he's not happy. Shall we see? Probably can't put that on air at the moment. Look at the understeer. You can see the front of the car. His hands are turned more than we saw some of the other drivers before, and then because of that, you'll see a snap. Round the rear is going to start coming around a little bit. There you go. That's because he's got a bit of understeer at the mid-corner, and then the torque of the electric motor overtakes it and spins the rear tyres up. Here goes da Costa.
DS Techeetah head-to-head. Down towards turn 1. We're on board with the Portuguese.
Oh, missed the apex though. And he knows he's got to get everything right to beat Jean-Eric Vergne.
2 pole positions in his Formula E career, Antonio Felix da Costa.
Not the best qualifier, but he can race. Well, so far so good though. Quickest of anybody through sector 1.
0.02 of a second quicker than his teammate. Now down into 5.
Picking out that apex jack. Let's see how well he gets back to throttle. Oh, lovely. Lovely. Just no drama at all.
Middle sector split coming up. How is he compared to Verne? It's going to be so close. He's up by 1/10.5. It's not going to be close at all. Da Costa,
he made a mistake though.
But Verne was slow in the final sector.
He overdid the apex, carried too much speed through the apex, and then underdid it through turn 9. He's out of his rhythm, but can he still hang on for pole position?
Da Costa on the power. It's Da Costa versus Verne. I'm not sure that final sector was great. Da Costa across the line, and it's pole by 0.3 of a second. A huge lap from Antonio Felix Da Costa to absolutely destroy the rest of the field.
That shows what I know. That was mighty it looked. He kept the momentum up, but it was messy, but oh my word.
Yeah! Nice one, boys. Thank you. So 1-2 for the team?
Yep. Yeah, 1-2.
Awesome. Well done, everyone. Well done.
Oh, wow.
That might have been one of the best qualifying laps I've seen in Formula E. To be 0.3 up on Jean-Eric Verne.
But look how close it is behind him.
Right.
You know, it's just little bits, and then bang, 0.3. Oh.
It's the biggest gap anywhere in qualifying, apart from De Grassi to Abt in 21st to 22nd.
Mighty.
Incredible stuff from Antonio Felix Da Costa. That's the quickest time of the weekend, a 1:06.799.
And the worrying thing for the others is in the last races, he was so good at managing energy. He was just in Marrakesh, in Santiago, he did such a good job at managing the energy that was required. And yeah, he's going to take some beating this afternoon. But wonderful way to start that for Antonio Felix Da Costa.
So Da Costa returns to the pit lane now then. Nodding to the team as he drives past. He knows that is a big, big result for Da Costa. This was always going to be a tough year for him. A sort of test year for him, because he got beaten by Robin Freins when they were teammates at Andretti. Other than that, he hadn't really had hugely competitive teammates in Formula E. Now he's got the two-time champion, and he's just out-qualified him by 0.3 of a second to secure pole position. And there is Jean-Eric Verne. And he doesn't look too chuffed about it. Making his way out now to the back of the garage. The little driver's room. And there is Da Costa getting on the scales. And then he will go and talk to Nicky to analyse his 3rd career pole position in Formula E. He's looking for his 4th podium in a row. It's his 60th Formula E race. Actually became the first driver this year to win races with 3 different teams. A win for Aguri, a win for BMW, and wins now for DS Techeetah. Is this finally the year we see Antonio Felix Da Costa mount a title challenge? I don't speak Portuguese, I'm afraid. A double podium in Marrakesh last time out for DS Techeetah. Made up for a bad start to the season. And now they've got a front row lockout. The team that took the first ever 1-2 in Formula E history back in season 4 in Santiago have now locked out the front row. Here comes, is that Jean-Eric Verne there coming up? Yes, it is. So that'll be interesting to see how their reactions go with one another. But here's a look at the results of qualifying. Antonio Felix Da Costa on pole position by a massive 0.3 of a second over Jean-Eric Verne in 2nd place. Andre Lotterer 3rd on the grid for Porsche. Buemi 4th, but here's the thing. Where are Da Costa's title rivals? That's the huge advantage that Da Costa has got here. Mitch Evans, 9th. He'll be starting 8th on the grid. Alexander Sims, Max Günther, Lucas de Grassi, Stoffel van Dorn. You don't see their names there. It's only Da Costa and Evans of the top 6 in the championship, of the top 7 in the championship, who are starting in the front half of the grid. James Collado down at the back in 24th place after a difficult day for him, but it's pole for Da Costa. There is Jean-Eric Verne. A cheeky smile. Cheeky is probably not quite the right word. As he makes his way up to get Wade. And here comes a very happy Antonio Felix da Costa, his 3rd career pole position. First, let's hear from the driver who will start in 3rd on the grid. Andre Lotterer is with Nicky Shields.
Andre Lotterer, great lap there, but just not quite enough to compete in the front row with your old team at DS Techeetah.
Yeah, if only it wasn't my ex-team, I would be happy. But no, it's still a great way to come back to racing. P3. Had a difficult morning with the free practice. Couldn't do my 250 laps, but we stayed calm and kept our head down, and yeah, gradually moved up. So the lap was okay. It's very hot out there, also here. So yeah, it's a good start. Hopefully we can race well.
So it's going to be interesting to see the competition between Jean-Eric Verne and Antonio Felix Costa. Do you think you can play that into your advantage?
Let's see, you know. A lot will happen on this kind of track. There's a lot of overtaking opportunities, but at the same time, I think we know this track that we will struggle a lot with the tires on this surface. So yeah, I think we have to keep cool, and you know, I'll do what I can with my car. I'm sure they'll do what they can with theirs and see where we end up.
Well, it's a great start to the season finale. Good luck.
So Lotterer, 3rd on the grid. His best result so far this season, Andre Lotterer, despite that pole position, was still 2nd place in the opening race in Diriyah. Went from pole in Mexico, ended up being out of the race after a bit of contact with Mitch Evans at the first corner, then in 8th place in Marrakesh. So 12th in the championship at the moment, but it's worth pointing out again, over 180 points available over the next 9 days before we decide the champion. So the stories are going to run and run, they're going to change and change, and it's going to be fascinating to see what happens in this title fight, in the most intense ending to a motorsport season ever. Let's go back down to Nicky.
Well, Jean-Eric Verne, that was obviously a phenomenal lap, but what do you make of it, being 2nd to your teammate?
I think for my sunglasses. No. I borrow them, please. I kept them for almost 6 months and you never said anything. You left them at my apartment. Anyway.
Come on then, avoiding the question.
Yeah,
and there's no touching anyway, guys. Come on, keep it together.
No, Antonio did a good lap. Congrats to him. I was very far away in FP1 and FP2. Still having a lot of difficulties with the brake, but it's a very good result for me. I'm quite happy. First time I'm in the Super Pole this year. So yeah, I guess the pace is coming back in quali, which is what I missed so far. The pace in the race has always been strong, so I expect a good race this afternoon.
Brilliant, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Those two are jokers, aren't they? Apparently, then, Lotterer left his sunglasses at Jev's 6 months ago. Da Costa doing his Instagram story. So log into his Insta later on to see what he says there, if you want to. He's all right to follow on Instagram, actually, Da Costa. Some of the drivers are they post a lot. Da Costa's not too bad. As Buemi now returns, 4th on the grid for Buemi and the Nissan team. Again, they keep up their very impressive Super Pole appearance performance. Buemi does look a little disappointed. He was there or thereabouts with the Techeetahs in Sector 1. It was really Sectors 2 and 3 that he then dropped away from. Let's go now and join Vernon.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. I'm here with Dario. Dario, that was awesome. Let's be honest, 158 days away from racing, we come back and we see a qualifying session like that. We've talked up the Jev and Felix da Costa relationship. This is going to add some spice to this little recipe that's cooking.
Absolutely. We thought Jev had done a fantastic lap. And Lothar just went, oh, you think that's good? Watch this. And that lap from Antonio Felix da Costa was mighty.
Yeah, you were really, really impressed with that. Fantastic.
I think it's been discussed as the best.
Really well done. The first time we had a couple of tests, and the first time I drove the car again, I felt like it wasn't all new, and I felt confident straight away, but I couldn't really catch it all the time, and I wasn't understanding it. And then after a few laps, it all just came naturally, and from then on, we just, you know, foot down and got down with our work, and you know, everybody's here to win. This team is amazing because their mentality is just they'll do whatever it takes, and there's no hours, there's no extra days, there's no whatever. So it's hard, but I mean, when you do a lap like that, then it's all worth it. And mainly, you know, the result is here, 1-2 for the team. Jev really strong as well, so really happy with that.
Phenomenal start for the team, particularly in such an intense period. And I'm going to have to say, you're going to have to present yourself with the trophy, which is behind you. So do pick it up, take it with you, and enjoy until we have to crack on with the race. Thanks very much.
So Antonio Felix da Costa receives his Julius Baer pole position trophy from the Invisible Man.
All right, thank you.
And great to hear from the pole sitter. And of course, quickest in group qualifying. So he's already picked up 4 points today. 180 available. Now, 176 available. You heard the pause while I tried to do 180 minus 4. Highlights of the first qualifying session of the 6 races on the 3 tracks that will give us the one champion over 9 days in ABB Formula E in Berlin. And Antonio Felix da Costa was the standout performer in Group 1, managing to go quickest of anyone and in a lap time that wasn't then beaten for the remainder of the session. And he booked himself a place in Superpole. Some of the other championship protagonists struggled. De Grassi 21st on the grid, Van Dorn 16th, Gunter 13th, Alexander Sims 17th on the grid. Group 2 saw Sebastian Buemi out on circuit. He did enough to get into Superpole as well. And then Jean-Eric Verne in Group 2 joined his DS Tegida teammate in the Superpole group. Daniel Abt struggled in his first qualifying session with Neo, half a second away from Oliver Turvey. James Collado didn't do a particularly strong run because he hasn't done any running so far today. Robin Freitz out on circuit, managed to qualify in the top 10 once Oliver Rowland's penalty has been applied. The Mahindra getting nice up and close to the wall. The Geox Dragons had a difficult day. Sergio Sete Camara with a big lockup on his first run. Nico Muller wasn't happy with the car either, and they start 23rd and 20th on the grid, respectively. Andre Lotterer managed to book himself a place in Superpole, but he could only do 3rd. Verne could only do 2nd, as Antonio Felix da Costa took a huge pole position for the first race in Berlin in ABB Formula E. So a great drive from da Costa. Let's get more thoughts from Vernon.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Dario, let's strip this down, shall we? We've got Antonio Felix da Costa, Jean-Eric Verne at the top of the table. This team is special. Why is it special, and why was that lap so special?
It's a combination of things, isn't it? You've got to get everything right. You've got to have the right drivers, you've got to have the right motor in the back, you've got to have the right powertrain, all that sort of stuff, and they've clearly got that. But
well, they've had it consistently, Dario.
Yeah, but that performance there was incredible. You know, they've hired Antonio Felix da Costa into the team. They've got the double champion with Jean-Eric Verne. They put da Costa and think, okay, see how it goes. And he has been mighty, as was Verne today. But da Costa, to have that gap to the rest of the field when everybody else was so close, very, very special.
How does Mark Preston manage this relationship? Because coming into the first race, the first of 6, we've been talking about Antonio Felix da Costa doing a lot better than back-to-back champion, current champion, Jean-Eric Vergne. It's created some spice, it's created a lot of talk. How does Mark Preston handle this situation?
Well, I think he's got to put his arm around Jev and just say, you know, you're the guy. You're still the champion, you're a guy. You know, Antonio's having a run of form. Just you keep doing your job. Let's keep working as a team, because if they're fighting out for first and second, that's great. That's what you want. You don't want to get this big battle going and they start like really messing the whole team up and they start fighting for 5th and 6th or 15th and 16th. Nobody cares. Keep the team up on a high. And Mark Preston will do that. He's very, very experienced.
He is very experienced. And it must be something to do with Jev as well. Let's not take anything away from Jev, because his performances with Andre Lotterer were good. Andre Lotterer's performances was always trying to chase Jev. And do you think it's the fact that Antonio Felix da Costa has come to DSHE and said, right, I need to impress this guy?
Yeah, he's got no expectations on him, has he? We're Jev, double champion. But Jev, you've got to say, Jev has helped guide that team from the outset. He's guided the team, and he's created from a team that was kind of, they are now, we've won 2 drivers' championships, 1 team's championship, and they are just doing a phenomenal job.
You know what, Dario? Jack made a great point earlier on. Antonio Felix da Costa has done this awesome time to put him on the top of the table, pole position. Where are his rivals going into this 6 races?
Yeah, they're you know, they're not where they need to be for them. No. Absolutely. Antonio's probably very happy at this point, but you know, Lucas Di Grassi obviously made a big mistake, but the other guy's just not quick enough. But you're going to see this afternoon the efficient powertrains coming through. There's so many great stories throughout the grid with people doing 1-lap wonders, but you're really going to see the efficient powertrains coming through. Who's done the best homework in these 150+ days
okay,
since
just
the last
quickly,
race?
Dario, who do you think's got the best chance to get up there with Antonio in the race?
It's going to be Antonio Jev show, I think, today.
All right, let's look forward to that then. Can't wait. Remember, use the hashtag Berlin E-Prix. We will be here a little later on, or earlier this evening, shall we say, 6 o'clock local Berlin time. We will see you then. Thanks for watching. Don't miss it.